you have to impose tariffs on a country that's bullying. For example, I love what you did with Iran when you put the sanctions. I'm in Monaco, June 26th of 2019. It's my 10-year anniversary. We're there with my wife. We're laying by Carlton Hotel, I think it's in Cannes, and having the, award-winning lobster roll, whatever they claim there. And I meet this guy, Middle Eastern guy. He comes in. He says, hey, Patrick, how are you? We start talking. I said, what do you do? He says, well, I'm a pretty powerful guy. I said, really? Yeah. He says, here, Google me. So I go on. I'm like, oh, interesting. I said, I'm curious. So you manage what? He says, 21 countries in the Middle East. I'm the one that says who gets to do business banking with Iran and none. I said, what did Trump's sanctions on Iran do? He says, let's go in the middle of the ocean and talk. And you have to set your phone aside. I'll never forget this. So we go in the middle of the ocean, standing out there having a conversation. Wives are talking. We're over there. He says, everybody, if you can pull up, that's the one. Is that what it is? Here's the economic growth in Iran. If you look at that, 15, 16 nuclear deal implemented, sanctions lifted. Then it's 18, 19. They're being decimated. I mean, these guys are getting destroyed.
They wanted to make a deal.
They wanted to make a deal. Then they had to come make a deal. In, and then Biden comes in. Obviously, things change right afterwards. So for this time around with Iran, with everything that's going on with sanctions, there is a method to the madness. Remember back in the days, you put that thing on.
Can you send me that chart? Look at that.
This?
They wanted to make a deal. I'm not looking to hurt Iran. They wanted to make a deal. Because I told China, if you buy 1 barrel of oil, you're not ever doing business in the United States again. They said, we'll pass to Iran. They passed. Nobody was buying from
Are you
Iran.
going to bring this back, the strategy back with Iran?
Different strategies. It all depends. Very fertile mind, different strategies. But they're very close to having a nuclear weapon. You have to understand, I didn't want much. All I wanted is you can never have a nuclear weapon. I didn't want much. I wanted Iran to be very successful. I just don't want them to have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
Because that's the real threat. The real threat isn't global warming. The real threat is nuclear warming. Okay? That's the real warming. Because, I'm the one that rebuilt our military. I rebuilt the whole military. And part of what I rebuilt is the nuclear. And I hated to do it, but we had to because China has it, Russia has it, et cetera. But I know more about nuclear than anybody because, and I can just only tell you this, the power is obliteration, okay? It's not, I always say it's not 2 army tanks running around
What's
each
going to
other.
happen to Iran with you by the end of your administration?
I'm not asking I would like to see Iran be very successful. The only thing is they can't have a nuclear weapon.
Are you okay with the same administration and way of governing stays, or would you like to see it go back to the 70s when Shah's was running it and Iran was one of the top 3 countries in tourism?
We can't get totally involved in all. We can't run ourselves. Let's face it.
Sure.
Patrick, we can't run ourselves.
You put sanctions, they don't have, the people are going to turn and flip on them. It's not going to be I think if you would have
When I handed it over, I told them, right now, make a deal with Iran, they'll do anything. They want to make a deal with me. Had that election not been rigged and stolen, I will tell you right now, we would have no problems anywhere in the world. Viktor Orban, he's a very tough guy and a very smart guy. And he's, some of the European countries don't like him because he's,
sure,
smart.
Makes sense.
And they do things that aren't so smart. But he said, they said, what's happening? The whole world is blowing up now. The Middle East, and Russia, Ukraine. I mean, now all of a sudden, it's getting really bad over there. I'll tell you, the Russia, Ukraine, getting really bad. You could have World War III, and we have 2 people, her and him, and she's not as smart as Biden. Biden, believe it or not, and this is a very small group of people fit into this category, he's smarter than she is, okay? You have a problem. And even the 3 or 4 months left, that's a lot of months. That's a lot of time left. You could have World War III before I would take office, even if I were.
So let me ask you this.
This country the world is in grave danger. But you know what Viktor Orban said? He said, if Trump comes back in, everything's solved. He said when he ran it, we had no wars, we had no problems. Now, he used the term they were afraid of Trump. I don't want to use that term because it's like, but they were. They were afraid of me. They didn't know what the hell I was going to do. And That included Russia. Don't forget, they always said, oh, I'm so close to Putin. I had a good relationship with Putin. I had a good relationship with President Xi. But what did I do to Putin? I ended the pipeline going to Germany and all over Europe. The biggest job they've ever had is the pipeline going all over Europe. I terminated it. Think of it. Do you think that's a good relationship? No. Putin said, I'd hate to see you if you were angry at us. You understand. But what did I do? First, earlier, and then you go, well, Trump was in the pocket of Russia. Trump was in the pocket. I ended the biggest job they've ever done, a job that made more money. Biden comes in, and what does he do? He approves it. He lets it go forward. It was dead. It was never going to happen. And what else did he do? He took the Keystone pipeline, which was our pipeline, which should have been approved, and he terminated it just before construction was started.
They've lost credibility at this point. But with Iran, so here's one thing. The reason why I'm asking this, I lived in Iran almost 11 years, and I was,
Are you Iranian?
I was Armenian, mother side, Assyrian, father side. You gave a shout out to Assyrians the other day in Arizona. It was great seeing Assyrians for Trump. But I'm asking
you know why they were there? They were so nice. I met this. They said, the Assyrians, they said, could you give us a shout out? I said, who are you? I didn't know. They said, we're Assyrians. I said, what does that mean? But they were really nice people. And I said, I think I mispronounced it a little. But I said
you did. You got to write this down. But going back to Iran. So last topic on this, I just want to clear this up. So Qassem Soleimani, you take him out. That's their hero. That's their general pattern. When you take him out, they want to seek vengeance. So now, hey, they're targeting you. They're coming after you. Assassination attempts, all this stuff. They create these videos that they're going to come. We haven't forgotten that you took our hero out. Great. When Reagan got elected, remember they released, was it 59 prisoners, who had been held hostage for 444 days? If I'm getting the numbers right, can you see 59, 444 days? What's the number?
52 Americans, 444
days. Boom. The minute inauguration, they released them. Khomeini, right? And it's like, oh, this guy's going to do something about it. This is my question for you. Say you win November 5th. Say it's a landslide. Say it's done, okay? From November 5th to you're going back to putting your hand in inauguration on the stage. During that time, that season, what do you think is going to happen during that season? Is during that season Russia-Ukraine going to be done? During that season, you think it's going to be that quickly? Or do you think it's going to be after?
I think the world's going to behave, and I think I will settle Russia, Ukraine while I'm president-elect.
While you're president-elect?
While I'm president-elect.
Wow.
You need that credibility. Sure. While I'm president-elect, I will settle it. I met with Zelensky the other day. I have good relationship with Putin and with Zelensky.
He didn't look too happy standing next to you, though.
Well, look, this is a war that should have never happened. You have millions of people that are dead, much more than you're reading about. When you see these, I was amazed at how big. I'm in the real estate business, to put it mildly.
Sure.
So I know buildings. Those buildings were massive. They were long rather than tall. They were 12 to 15 stories, but they went like for blocks. They were massive buildings. Rockets were hitting the buildings. They were collapsing. A lot of people were killed. You hear 2 people were injured. No. Many people were killed. That war is much more deadly than they're telling you. It has to be settled. But here's the problem. It should have never happened. If I were president, that war would have never happened. Putin would have never done it. The war would have never happened.
You're saying,
without even a settlement. But
you're saying after November 5th, as a president-elect, you're saying things are going to get done during that time?
I'd like to be able
How
to
about
do
Iran
it.
and Israel? What about that one?
Well, that depends. A lot's happening right now.
I know
we're going to
it
have to see what happens.
Okay.
That one is a very interesting one. And it's become more interesting because Israel didn't listen to Biden and her and did what they wanted to do. And they put themselves in a pretty strong position. I mean, let's face it. Who would have thought this was going to happen? Everybody was very afraid of Iran. They're less afraid of Iran now. What they did to Hezbollah and Hamas, if you take a look at
Nasrallah, they took everybody out. I mean, the pagers there.
No, the whole thing with the pagers.
Right.
It was from the pagers because those were your leaders. I mean, those were the leaders. It was
That's
like 2,000
straight to the top. And the guy that replaced him, they took him out as well. I mean, that was that because nobody wants that job. And I was like, hey, would you like this job? I'll pass. I don't want the job. Right.
So it's a different, it's a different story. But only because Bibi did not listen to Biden wanted everything to just sort of foment. They wouldn't listen to him.
Do you think Bibi will listen to you?
Which tells you, do I what?
Do you think Bibi will listen to you?
Yeah. Oh, he'll listen to me 100%.
100%.
100%. Don't forget, I got them Golan Heights.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying to get it for as long as they were around. But more importantly than that, I ended the Iran nuclear deal, which was Bibi fought like hell to have it. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Fought like hell. Came in to see Obama, fought. And I also got him, very important, I helped them with their military, everything else, but I got him Jerusalem, capital. Not only did I get it for him, I built the embassy. I didn't just say that, I got it built.